The Minister of the Federal Capital Territory and former Rivers State Governor Nyesom Wike has warned against attempts to take over the People's Democratic Party structure in Rivers State. He threatened to cause a political crisis in any PDP governor state if they interfere with the party's affairs in Rivers.
This comes after the PDP Governors Forum expressed support for Governor Siminalayi Fubara and called for a review of the party Congress outcome to restore his leadership role. Wike instructs PDP governors to stay clear of Rivers party affairs.
They said that we are finished. They are finished. Not while we leave. Anybody will take away the structure of PDP from us. Not while we leave. And let me tell people, I hear that there are some governors, there are some governors who say they will take away the structure and give back to somebody. I pity those governors because I'll put fire in their state. When God has given you peace, you say you don't want peace. Then whatever you see, you take.
Joining us to discuss this is the former Deputy Speaker, Rivers State House of Assembly, Honorable Leyi Kwanee. Good morning and thank you for joining us.
Good morning and thank you for having me.
And we also have joining us this morning the Publicity Secretary, Rivers APC Caretaker Committee, Mr. Chibike Ikenga. Good morning, Mr. Ikenga. Thank you for joining us. Welcome, gentlemen, to the show.
Thank you. Pleased to have me.
All right, let's start with Mr. Leyi Kwanee. Honorable, you've heard the utterances of the Minister of the FCT, the former Governor of Rivers State, who in some measure seems to have a lot of influence. He doesn't want to let go of the structure that he speaks about in Rivers State. What exactly is going on, and how is it that Nyesom Wike seems to have this much influence and is still holding on to it, even though there's already a governor in the state?
Good morning, my brother Ikenga. Nice seeing you this morning. Well, I think there is something that is wrong fundamentally with our democracy. Over the years, we seem to be producing stronger personality and not working on strengthening our institutions. So there seems to be superhuman beings as against all our democratic infrastructure that is supposed to be stronger. So I think the minister as one of those super individuals that our democratic process may have produced from 1999 up to now, is coming from that angle. And considering that the Honorable Minister is a lawyer by training and knowing the implication of all of those utterances, I am not here to draw condemnation, but to add a word of caution that all of this is not helpful to our democracy. It's not helpful in any bit, because you can't go all out threatening people or that you are going to set fire in their state and all of that. It's unbecoming. It's not expected of such a highly placed citizen.
All right, Mr. Ikenga, let's have you also share your thoughts. Pretty much the same question, but also speak about this political structure in Rivers State that needs protection by all means from Nyesom Wike. Tell us about your thoughts concerning his statement, and then about the political structure that he might be referring to.
Okay, thank you once again for having me. I want to say that politics is about structure, and the Minister of the FCT has been a consummate politician. He has been there from 1999, like the former DS did say. He is a very strong politician. I remember that he's also a foundation member of the PDP. And also recall that when PDP was totally collapsed, he came, he used his contacts, he used whatever resources at his disposal, both human and material, to ensure that PDP was rebuilt. So these governors who are making all these unguarded utterances, particularly tilting to one side, it's unfortunate because at the time this crisis broke out, The governors were supposed to quickly meet with the governor of Rivers State, Governor Siminalayi Fubara, and his benefactor, and reconcile them, allow them to make compromises for peace to be in their party. But they chose to sit back, to watch, to see that Rivers State, our dear state, is in turmoil, and then we are deprived of development. But now, the crisis has snowballed into a greater inferno. The minister of the FCT is a strong politician like DSN. Everybody knows. And politics is about structure. And this is the issue. He has continued to say that the structure is the structure. This is the same structure that produced the governor, Governor Siminalayi Fubara. So why didn't the leaders and governors of PDP come together to try to reconcile them?
So you're saying that other governors.
To see all this.
So what you're saying is that other governors, in the PDP should have left, their main focus, which is their states, and then be moving to Rivers State to mediate between a crisis where the former governor of the state and the current governor refuse to grow up and focus on development in Rivers State, which should be the focus of Governor Siminalayi Fubara, and of course the FCT should be the focus of Governor Nyesom Wike. So governors from other states now should leave their responsibilities and then come and help mediate between these two adults, because they, of course, can't find a level ground amongst themselves. Is that what you're saying, or what you're advising?
Excuse me, did I hear you say they refuse to grow up? I want to be clear on that.
Yeah, I mean, if they've been fighting for months.
That statement, that's very insulting. You don't talk to people like that. That governor of Rivers State refused to grow up. The FCT minister refused to grow up. Is that how you're trained in your
if you have two governors who have been fighting each other for months and ignoring the development of Rivers State, which should be their focus, which you clearly said, isn't that childish behavior on both of them?
I still insist. I think that you need to be cautioned. There are other terms you can use. You can say if they have refused to agree and understand the fact that there is need for development, that's more respectful. You can't come and say that those adults who are nearly up to be your father, that they refuse to grow up. You have addressed the governor. Can you address your
Permit me to interject at this point, Mr. Ikenga.
Mr. Ikenga.
Would you be okay if we said that these two people need to realize that they haven't prioritized the needs of the people who put them in office at different times?
I agree with you. And let me rest. I agree with you completely. That's better.
All right.
No.
Please go ahead.
Oh, okay.
Now, it is, responding to it. Responding to it completely is that there is a political
hold on, Mr. Leyi.
There is a political disagreement. And like I said earlier, the governors of the PDP ought to have intervened to ensure that there is reconciliation and peaceful coexistence, which will return us to proper development of the state. However, the governors took sides. And now, because they took sides, they have interfered on one side and no reconciliation. And then the minister of the FCC has every right to ask them to stay clear and allow them to play the politics that is ongoing. And that if they continue to do so to create crisis in the state, that he was going to replicate them in their state. Fair and square.
All right. Mr. Leyi, you wanted to say something. Mr. Leyi.
Yeah. If you are looking for a PDP spokesperson on this platform, then I am the wrong person. I am here as a Rivers State man, as an elder of the state, to put it as it were currently in the state, because I also contested the governorship election 2023, and while some of us have decided to collapse our structure and join Governor Sim, is informed by the fact of the developmental stride that he has taken on so far. So using the word not growing up or that is leaving the issue of development is out of it completely. There can never be two governors of a state at the same time. We all know Governor Sim as the governor of Rivers State currently. Nyesom Wike has had his 8 years and is the current minister of the FCT. So all good River sons and daughters are focused on how to deepen development and partnering with Siminalayi Fubara on his efforts so far. So the issue of not focusing on development as far as this current governor is concerned is neither here nor there. Rivers State has moved on beyond the election, and we have so much to show.
But isn't it?
By way of what Sim has been doing so far.
And
Yeah.
I can see the sense in which you would say that, because many would agree that, Governor Sim Fubara would love to have, maybe he should have been given the opportunity. I don't know if given the opportunity is the right word, but should be allowed to be governor of the state without interference. In this case, from a former governor who ought to be facing the FCT, where he's now been placed as minister. So what is it about Nyesom Wike that makes him also powerful? Some have argued that the PDP should have thrown him out of the party for what they refer to as anti-party activities. But again, we've seen time and time again where he's been very clear about not being, not leaving the PDP, staying there. And many have said that he, in a way, is bigger than the party. So I want us to have the conversation about the statements that he's made. He said, for the governors who are throwing their support behind Governor Sim Fubara, that he will set fire to the estates. What does setting fire to the estates mean? And we've seen calls for him to be invited and interrogated on what that means. Honorable Kwanee, can you talk to us about what that means, and if that's a statement that should be allowed to sit lightly, or should be he should be invited to be to explain what he means by that? And I'd ask the both of you.
Yeah, well, I stated earlier that I am not speaking for the PDP. I am speaking as a river son. I'm speaking as somebody that is interested in the well-being of the Rivers people. And when it comes to that statement of setting fire, I have stated earlier that the Honorable Minister of the FCT is a lawyer by training. And of course, he should be able to appreciate the weight of those statements, that they are unbecoming of his office and they are threats. And we all, we open our legal books, know where all of that should take us to. So if the necessary agencies of government who were there that day should be able to look at, review all of that and do what they are supposed to do.
All right.
I want to bring in Mr. Ikenga once again. If this continues for the length of time that Sim Fubara is governor, and River State, somehow, some way, fails to achieve the best that Sim Fubara maybe would have been able to give to the state, will the people of River State be frustrated with Governor Nyesom Wike?
Okay, quickly, let me address the earlier question and come to yours. The issue is that former Governor Nyesom Wike, the FCT minister, did not threaten anybody. He did say that if the governors, or if some of the governors of PDP continue to interfere in the political ongoings in River State, that what that means is that they will be trying to create crisis between the Governor Sim Fubara, and himself, and creating problems for PDP. And that if they do so, and if they continue to do so, that he will do the same in their own state. And that he does have the capacity to do so in their own state. That was what he said. He did not threaten anybody. He told them, it's a statement of fact, that if you do this in my state, and if you continue to do this in my state, I will do so also in your own state.
No, he said he will put fire. He said he will put fire in their states. That's the exact word that he used.
Creating crisis in a state, creating crisis in his own state, River State, in the PDP, and putting fire is not creating crisis. Clear. That is what it is. If you create crisis in my own state, I say I will put fire in your own state. And remember, he said when he does that you lose concentration on governance and you have political crisis also. He said so. Take it in details. That's what he said.
All right.
And also, let me respond finally. Now, on the issue of development in River, there is no doubt that the political crisis between the Governor Sim Fubara and his benefactor, Chief Nyesom Wike, has slowed down completely governance. The governor has been distracted. There's no doubt about that. The governor is trying his best, but his best is not good enough in view of the fact that so many people are now seeing the governor and seeing the River State as a means of lining their pockets. Now they come to tell him we have, just like those same governors, they're depending on Governor Fubara to fund some of the activities because they believe River State has humongous treasury. So that's what it is. That's the challenge we have in the state. Because of this crisis, there is no doubt that River State is not performing optimally.
Yeah, and that's what I'm asking. So if after 4 years, Sim Fubara is not able to give 100% of himself to River State, will the people of River State, including yourself, be frustrated with Governor Wike for not allowing Sim Fubara to concentrate on the work that he's been elected to do?
No, you cannot say it is Governor Wike that will be blamed for misgovernance or inadequate governance or inability of the governor or the government to provide social services as required by his election. It is not so. It is the inability of the governor and his benefactor to find a means of reconciling in the sense that reconciliation is about give and take. Look, let's stay away from this zero-sum game where the winner takes all and the loser loses all. These are some of the crises. These are some of the problems that lead to the crisis. All we require is that the governor will give him some, and then his benefactor will also give him some, and then there will be peace. And for those who call themselves PDP governors,
give him some what?
Who I believe
give him some what exactly?
Sorry?
Give him some what?
If there are disagreements, if you recall, the president intervened and gave presidential proclamation of peace, items that will be taken for peace to return. Remember that the president asked that the presidential proclamation for peace asked that budget be presented to the properly constituted house and that impeachment move against the governor be withdrawn. These are some of the give and take that are required to ensure that there is peace.
All right. Let's quickly take a look at that video again, and we'll come back to the conversation where former Governor Nyesom Wike was speaking about the political structure in Rivers State.
They said that we are finished. They are finished. Not while we leave. Anybody will take away the structure of PDP from us. Not while we leave. And let me tell people, I hear that there are some governors, who say they will take away the structure and give back to somebody. I pity those governors because I'll put fire in their state. When God has given you peace, you say you don't want peace.
All right, just wanted us to reiterate that video again so that we all can hear exactly what was being said. And just to double check again with you, Mr. Ikenga, that again, you don't see anything wrong in what former Governor Nyesom Wike has said. Whilst to respond to that, I want to ask you what your thoughts would be regarding those who say that Governor Nyesom Wike is not being very reasonable with how he's handling matters in Rivers State, because whilst he was in office, what he's doing now, he wrestled power away from the hands of the one who was there before him. He was allowed, or he took it by force and became governor, and there wasn't as much interference from Rotimi Amechi, and now he should step back and allow Governor Sim Fubara to do his job as the acting governor of the state. What would your response to people who argue about that? What would your response be? Okay,
I think that you don't have the information properly. When Nyesom Wike was governor of Rivers State, Rotimi Amechi, through the instrumentality of the federal government, interfered greatly, fought him greatly.
Maybe what I wanted to reward, maybe what I meant to say was that he fought his way through. So you would assume that somebody who had to fight his way through will be able to understand the principles of stepping aside, especially because before he stepped out, he mentioned in one of the Thanksgiving services, I remember seeing him saying that when he's done with his time, he's done with his time, and he would not meddle with the affairs of the state when he's out.
Okay, let me tell you, he's a politician. Just like the DS in your studio and myself, we are politicians. It's about interests. He is protecting the interests of those who follow him. Mind you, the governor of Rivers State, Governor Sim Fubara, is part of his team, but they have disagreed. So having disagreed, people should aim towards reconciliation. But let me tell you something. When you play that video, what former governor and FCT minister said is that I hear that they say they want to take my structure and give to somebody. And that if they do so, since they say he is finished, that he's not the one that is finished, that the ones who are finished, that he will replicate same in their own states. Let me say finally that Governor Nyesom Wike former Governor Nyesom Wike and FCT minister did not say anything that is against the law. All he was doing is to fight to protect his interests and the interests of those who follow
Yeah,
him.
I mean, but that's where the problem is. And I'm sorry, Honorable Leyi Kwanee, we're going to bring you in a bit. You know, you probably have to answer both.
Yeah.
Both of you need to answer this one. You know, but this is where the problem is. You know, we have heard a politician say that he will put fire in other states where he is not governor of, where he doesn't necessarily have any, you know, political relevance in those states, but he's threatening to put fire. And so should any politician have that level of authority and audacity to threaten fire? So if Minister Nyesom Wike has issues with 15 states across the country, should he be allowed to put fire in 15 states across the country simply for his own political satisfaction and to protect his own political structure? That's really where the issue is, Mr. Ikenga.
The issue is that it was conditional. He said, if you create crisis in my state, some of the governors, he said some, but you are grouping all of them. He said some. And then he said, if you create crisis in my state through PDP by threatening to take my structure, I will also do so in your own state. Conditional.
Well, he didn't say I will also do so in your own state. He said I'll put fire. Honorable Leyi Kwanee, let's have you respond.
No, he said that he would create crisis in your state as well. He said so.
I stand by what Usman Dan Podio said. Conscience is an open wound. Only the truth can heal it. Let us not try to embellish simple statement that was made on that occasion. I have stated earlier that there are a lot of supermen that our democracy has produced from 1999 who are not amenable, who are not teachable to the rules of this game. And for whatever reason, Rivers State, nobody is bigger than Rivers State. It's all about the interest of this state that Governor Siminalayi Fubara has been trying to put at the front burner. And there can never be two governors at the same time. Our brother and minister of the FCT has had his good time of 8 years. And he cannot also think that he can come back to have a third term. So Governor Siminalayi Fubara is in the saddle of the administration of Rivers State now. So that fact, we must come home with that fact. Right. The issue of the minister saying he will put fire in some of the states is absolutely uncalled for. And I think by now, the minister, as a law-abiding Nigerian and as a lawyer by training, should be called to order to retract all of this statement because it is very, very inflammatory and will not do our democracy any good.
All right.
Rivers State has moved beyond where we are in 2023, and we are focused on developing the state and taking the state to where it is be. It is beyond the issue of PDP or APC. That's why you see a lot of us have collapsed our structure and partnering with him in order to ensure that Rivers sons and daughters enjoy the dividends of our democracy.
All right. I think my final question will be to Mr. Chibike Ikenga. You're the Publicity Secretary, Rivers APC Caretaker Committee, and from our conversation, you've thrown a lot of weight and support behind Nyesom Wike. In a way, you don't seem to see, you know, what anything that he's done really being wrong here. Are you not worried about your party maybe not coming into power in Rivers State?
Well, the issue we are discussing here, we are not discussing governance, whether the Governor Fubara is performing or not performing. That's not what we're discussing here. What we are discussing is about PDP State Congress, wherein there is a seeming disagreement between former Governor Nyesom Wike, the FCT minister, and some governors of the PDP, particularly with respect to the Congress. So whatever the former Governor Nyesom Wike talked about the Congress, I support him in total because he has to protect his own interests as well, particularly looking at what governors who are from outside the state are beginning to plan, the conspiracy. That's what he's trying to.
And I hear you. I hear you, Mr. Ikenga. But what I'm asking is, are you in support of the PDP still remaining in power in Rivers State, or are you maybe anticipating that the APC will take over in the next elections?
No, the APC will win PDP in Rivers State. APC will win PDP in Rivers State. We are putting our house in order. We are going to defeat them come local government election when properly conducted, as well as the state elections.
All right.
Yes.
Former Governor Nyesom Wike doesn't seem like he's going to allow that to happen, but we'll see how it goes. Thank you very much, gentlemen, for joining us. Mr. Chibike Ikenga and Honorable Leyi Kwanee, thank you for your time with us this morning.
Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
All right.
All right.